Hey everybody, welcome to the Evolution Podcast. Welcome. It's Mac with Jen, and we're going to talk a little bit today about something that's coming up and try to see if we can inspire or break or trigger or whatever it takes to move into the new year and actually keep the commitments that are going to be made. Because there's a lot of times we have thoughts every day, like, oh, I should do this, or I want to do this. And then we wind up going against those things, no matter who you are, what it is. Some people are better at it, some people are worse, but I'm just going to have that conversation around it and talk about change. And sometimes the dramatic changes, sometimes the easy changes, like what's it actually take? So we'll maybe give a little reference to some of the changes that we've made, whether it was breaking an addiction, changing the way we looked at things, changing a relationship, changing our financial situation, changing our bodies, changing our spirituality. Like there's so many different things that are kind of a form of growth, but none of them easy. And it usually comes with a lot of like trying or saying you're going to do it and then not doing it and then doing it again and then finally getting to some point where you're either inspired enough or you're angry enough that you cut something out. So, should we go about like what do you think your biggest change?
Well, I think just listening to you talk, it's like not just about changing things, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about like also starting new things.
Mm-hmm.
Like starting new things. And when you were talking, the first things that came into my mind were just like when we decided to start our membership, or like when I decided to like launch my sober mom program.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were all to me like scary things that we did.
Yeah. So how just kind of typically when we do these things, it's not something where we think about it once, then we go do it, right? How long did you think about it before you did it?
Well, the Sober Mom program, I did a Tony Robbins event,
Mm-hmm.
and in the event in the chat in the Zoom room, I said I'm going to create a program to help women get sober. And I don't think I actually did it until about a year later. But what's funny is when I wrote that in the chat in the Zoom, I screenshotted it and posted it online and said, like, I'm going to do this, but it took a year.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's a good thing that you might want to think about right now. Is there something that you want to do or that you're inspired to do or driven or it has a purpose that you want to do? If there's anything that comes up, write it down, put it somewhere where you have to either recognize it, see it, or whatever. And you don't have to necessarily say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. But if you're going to commit to doing it, then do it. Don't back down on it. Don't excuse it. Don't justify it your way around it, whatever. Making change is probably the hardest thing that people do, especially when they're used to comfort or used to drama or used to whatever. It doesn't matter.
I feel like a lot of times um, things get like our heart speaks and our heart says like do this
Mhm.
or you should leave him or you should, make the phone call or you should start the program or like our heart tells us we should do something or there's you should you need to quit drinking, right? Or you need to like your heart is speaking.
It's like an inspired feeling
There's
thought.
an inspired feeling, inspired thought, and I feel like those inspired feelings and thoughts usually come in like a 3 to 4 word sentence, like start the program, quit the job, like tell him you love him, um, leave him, like 2 to 3 to 4 words,
Yeah, they could be
right?
good. They could be kind of bad or like life-changing
Most, it's all, a
struggle?
lot of times it's like little life-changing things. And a lot of times these ideas come to us like when we're in the shower or go on a walk or praying or meditating or driving in the car. Like anytime when your brain is like just doing, like you're either asking the questions or your brain is kind of just like doing its own thing. You're just like thinking about things and your heart starts speaking. It's like when you are quiet enough to listen to your heart, that's when your heart starts speaking.
And then take action.
Yes. And so what happens is our heart speaks, and then what happens is typically our brain comes in and starts coming up with all the reasons why we shouldn't do that thing or
Hmm.
like why we don't want to. And a lot of times, like the head and the heart go back and forth, and but you're not really conscious of it, but you just know like you want something because your heart wants something, but your brain continues to hold you back from taking any action on what your heart wants. And I've learned that
Hmm.
that when I ignore what my heart is saying, when I ignore it, typically it usually gets louder and louder until I actually do something about it. So nowadays, when my heart speaks, or if my heart's like, make the post, I'm like, okay. I stop, I don't allow my brain to argue with my heart anymore because I know that if my heart's speaking and if I don't listen, it's going to continue to get louder and louder. And sometimes that scream comes in a form of pain. And so I like to avoid pain, like that kind of pain. So it's like I don't like to react to life. I like to create life. So rather than my heart speaking and me ignoring it and then reacting to the pain that comes that forces me to move on what my desire, I just choose to listen to my desire and take action, even if I'm scared or even if it's uncomfortable or even if I don't know what's going to happen, and just trust that it's all going to be okay and it's all working for me. And so I used to have a desire or a thought, an inspired thought come up. And I used to wait a year, year and a half, 2 years before I would take any action on it or even like allow myself to think of like the possibility of actually doing it, maybe.
Hmm.
Now it's like I hear it and I just move. Hear it and move. Hear it, move. Sometimes I'm not ready right that minute, but I know like it's going, like if my heart's speaking, there's going to be action taken pretty soon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes me think of like a whole lot of like there's multiple different things to consider. Um, the one you're talking about is when you get the inspired thought to take action on it quickly, right?
Yes, I'm saying if you want to make it a habit to take action more quickly on the inspired thoughts, because that is you creating your life rather than reacting to it. Because, like I said, if you wait and your head starts coming in with all the fears and all the reasons why not, and what's wrong with you, and why this will never be happen for you, or why all the thoughts, if you wait, um, eventually there will be enough pain in your life that'll get you to move. So it's like you either create by just doing it and
Yep.
taking the action, or you wait and react later on. And I come to a point where I like to create as opposed to react. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yep.
May I say one more thing?
Yep.
Okay. And so typically, when you have the inspired thought on your heart, right? That's when the door of opportunity opens. And so, like I said, if you can look at it as like, okay, you have the idea, you have the thought, you have the thing you know you should do or that you want to do, and the door of opportunity opens. And typically, if you don't jump through the door quickly, then then the door shuts. And this is why we get stuck for so long, is because we don't take action when the doors open.
Hmm.
And so, but once the door shuts and all the excuses come in and the fears come in and the reasons why not come in and they kind of take over, that's the door shutting again. And typically the door doesn't open again until a year, 6 months, 2 years down the road. And this is why people get stuck for so long, is because they don't jump when the doors open. So, like, when I had the idea to do the Sober Mom program, right? At the time in my life, I had the thought, but there wasn't enough like pain in my life at the time to get me to move, and I more so was reacted to pain to that. And so the thought came in, the door was open, and then my brain said, Jen, like, you're not good enough to do that. Nobody's going to listen to you anyways. Like, what are you even thinking about? Like, that's crazy. People are going to judge you. Like, no. And so I let the door shut, and the door shut on me for a year until I remember, until my car broke down and it was snowing and very, very cold outside. My radiator blew up. Remember, Mac?
Hmm.
And you were out of town, right?
Hmm.
And I called my ex-husband to come rescue me. And did he rescue me? No. And I was very upset. And I was like, I don't know why, but it was like that evening that I went through that evening where I was like,
Struggle.
there was like a struggle there, and I was like, because I was wanting to rely on him to like rescue me, and he didn't. And I was like, I never want to feel like I need to be rescued again. I need to do something. I'm gonna finally do my program, and like I'm so excited about it. And I got home, wrote out the outline, and literally like within the next couple of weeks, like I did it. And it was awesome,
Hmm. Yep.
right? And should probably do it, like do something like that again. The whole program is actually available in the back office of our membership.
Hmm.
But when I was doing it, like I was going through it with everybody, and it turned out really good. But it wasn't until I went through that like pain and that moment of like, I need to do something, and that's what pushed me to do it. But I allowed myself, like I almost was stuck on it for like a year, talking myself out of it because I didn't know. And my car turned out fine. Like Mac, you did help me from afar because you were out of town, remember?
Hmm.
And I was at the gas station, and we got it towed to my ex-husband's work. So he eventually did help out a little bit, but at the time, like I wanted somebody to come get me. But anyways, it's fine. I got a ride home, and the people were great. But it was the pain that made me move. So I was reacting to the pain I felt in the moment that pushed me to move the needle forward, as opposed to just doing it when I was inspired a year earlier.
Yeah. So it brings up a couple good points. Typically, when people are inspired to do something and they actually take action doing it, the most powerful one is like when you're falling in love, right? You're inspired to do all kinds of stuff and you just do it. Like you change, you make these adjustments, and you just become something different when you're truly like falling in love. The other one that I see probably the most often outside of that is actually the changes being made at events, whether it's a online event or whatever, but you're kind of challenged and you're thinking and you're in the groove, and it helps inspire that thought. It helps inspire to see things. And if there's the right kind of commitment made, then a lot of times people will follow through with it. However, some of the things I really want to address here, because moving into the new year, I'm going to be challenging a lot of people to do certain things. Like the idea with coaching is that you create change. You help people create change. You don't necessarily change them, but you support them. You stand behind them. You give them everything that possibly that they could need in order to change, even if that's a knock it the fuck off. You're being a baby. Get like you said you were going to do this. The call out, the whatever holding them capable, the discipline, the different things, but also the side of things to say why are you letting those thoughts think like in your mind? Take those thoughts out of your mind. They're not true. And removing the struggles, the blocks, and the different things. So one is just an investigation. You say you want this, but do you really? It's a good question, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I want to make money." Are you sure? Because if you want to make money, you should probably leave most of the people you know. You should probably abandon where you live and go somewhere else. If that was your primary objective, if your primary objective was literally like, I just want to make money, if that was true, then very easily you could say, that's what I need to learn in order to make money, which means I should quit everything, leave everyone, go there, learn, then do, and make a ton of money. Anybody could do it. Like I've seen this my entire life, and I've always known since I was a kid. Yeah, I want to make money, but I don't want to make money so bad that I'm willing to leave everything that I have. Not going to do it. I want to make investments, but I'm not willing to eliminate my lifestyle just so I can make some small investments. Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking about this actually earlier today, and I feel like it's not necessarily a fear of failure that people have, but it's a fear of what of if they were to get what they want, what it demands of them.
Yeah, that's part of it for sure.
So like I mean if you say like I want to quit drinking, like what demands are would be placed on you in order to make that happen? Like they have a fear of what the demands could be. Does that make sense? Or like if I want to make, 10K a month, right? It's more like a fear of like, or how about if I want to get into a relationship? I want to meet the love of my life. But a lot of people fear what demands that may put on them, like, well, then I have to give up my freedom,
Hmm.
or but if you want to make that 10K a month, but then
Work really, really hard,
I lose
but you
my
don't.
time, that's the demand that
Yeah.
gets placed on them. And so it's like you may say you want the money or you may say you want the relationship, because yes, of course we all do. It sounds really good. But if you fear the demands that you think will be placed on you in order to receive what you want, you'll hold yourself back from actually moving forward to get what you want.
Yeah, and sometimes there are demands. Sometimes they're short term, sometimes they're long term. Uh, but at the end of the day, the real meat of this conversation is, do you really want to change? And are you willing to do it? So even if I assume that it's very demanding to make the money or get the relationship, or, if I lock it down with one person, am I screwing myself? Like all the fears and everything else that might come up, there's still the question that says, but are you going to do those little things that are going to create the change that you want? If you're overweight, if you're obese, are you going to take out the things that when you get anxiety and you're not doing anything, and all of a sudden there's the wrong kind of food in front of you and you've now told yourself you're hungry? Is this where the excuses and the justifications come in, or just the blatant forgetting because you really don't want it that bad, and so you continue to eat the shit that makes you fat, right? Like that's a possibility. And so there's a lot of factors here, and I want to kind of point out some different things when you say I want something different. So I just want you to think about it real quick to say you want something different. Okay, is it money? Is it something with your health? Is it something with your relationship? Or is it something with God? Or are there a mix? But basically turn it into one. What is the one thing that's going to change everything to make you or help you get that thing that you want? Just think about it. What is it? Is it money? Is it a relationship? Is it some connection, spirituality, whatever, God, however that looks? or is it your body? What is it? So I want you to think about that. And then as you're thinking about it, what's the one thing that you can think of that says, this is not serving me? I have to change that. You already know, like it's not a hard question. Like either you have to spend less, or you need to work harder, or you need to create a system, or you need a better accountant, or there's something in your mind that's like, this could be better. Or your food, you're like, yeah, I mean, this is like a constant struggle for me with food. You wouldn't think it because I can at times be very disciplined or do different things, but it has never um, been easy for me to not want to like just eat everything. You know, like the crappy food, the good food. There's been times when I reject it completely. Like, no, I only eat this. But it's not because I don't want the ice cream, right? Like I do kind of want the ice cream. I just don't want the result of the ice cream. I want the result of this food. And so I get rigid on that. And then there's times when I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't, you don't want to eat that sugary shit. And then 6 hours later, I'm hungry, I'm fatigued, and I'm like got that impulse, that like snacky type impulse. And next thing I know, I'm throwing stuff in my face and eating it. Just and it's I don't even know if I'm hungry. It could just be anxiety and it's a comfort. I don't know. It could be both. And so those are factors you have to take into consideration. I could be having a relationship struggle that actually doesn't have to do with the relationship. It has to do with money, or a money or relationship struggle that actually has to do with your body not functioning correctly. And so your vibration is low, your thoughts are messed up, and you go into a scarcity mindset based on fatigue inside your body. There's different factors happening in all of this. So as you're going into the new year, the thing I want to point out is go think about the thing you want, think about the inspired thought that you need to do it. Now ask yourself, why would you do it? Like, I'm not saying go do it. I'm saying, why would you do it? Of what benefit would that have to you? And if you can really dig into that and say, well, this is why I would do it, so that I can get da 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 da, and you explain it in such a way that is like unquestionable. Now I actually believe you might do it. Might. Because even though you've convinced yourself this is a desire, this is what you want, and everything else, the fact is your energy, your psychology, your programming, your influences are all going to try to keep you doing the same thing. You are programmed to continue doing these things. That's why you're doing them in the first place. And now you have to break the program and try and instill new programming, which is a struggle. It's not something that happens naturally. It is literally a reprogramming of yourself. So removing bad, putting in new. Sometimes this works through getting angry, right? Getting aggressive, turning it into a challenge, getting pissed off. Fuck that, I'm going to do this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Kind of like you said your car's broke down, sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to change this little bit of inspiration from the negative side, the pain, to motivate to get it done. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically that's how we operate.
Mm-hmm.
We get sick and tired of something and we say, fuck this, and we do something different. That is the normal pain is a motivator conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that at any point in time just by creating it mentally. You got to be careful with it because it can also force you into depression. So there's different ways to use it. There's the other side, which is love or inspired. And you can drive forth the inspiration through a lot of activity. But that activity typically comes from discomfort, right? Because if you want to inspire something positively and you already have love and you already have a little money, or let's say things are going good and you decide, oh, I want to do this, that doesn't normally happen, right? People are like, yeah, that would be cool. And then they're comfortable, right? Comfort is kind of the enemy of change. And to get uncomfortable, how do you do it? Well, you go to an event, you get around other people, you get around something that's going to call you out or inspire you to think different. And then you're like, wait a minute, yeah, I want to do this. And then it can turn into sometimes fun, or or you can use a little bit of rage or anger, like modified or fabricated to give you a little inspiration to go. And so you can use these other ways, or like dream building. If you started dream building and dream building and dream building, it usually feels good. But again, what usually happens? Somebody's like, how come they have this and I don't? They get angry. Again, pain is a motivator. So there's things to look at when you say, I want this. First question, do you really? If so, why aren't you doing something for it? See, like that's kind of a hypocritical statement. Oh, I want this, but I'm doing nothing for it. Well, you're full of shit. What you want is the idea of that, but you don't want to give up anything that you have right now. So then it says, okay, so if I want this, why do I believe doing these things will get me this? And then if it gets me that, why? And you just continue investigating it. And then also ask the question, I want this thing, however, I'm unwilling to do the work to get it. Why is that? Because well, I don't believe that it's going to do it. Well, I'll give you a good one of my own. I'll just throw myself under the bus. I want to create all this marketing stuff and make all this money, and I can see that it's possible and everything else. But then push comes to shove. I have a business. I'm trying to run my business. My business actually pays the bills, but now I have to rob time from the business in order to learn these other things. So it's not that I don't believe it won't work. It's that I don't believe it will work fast enough because I have other needs and things that have to be met now, and I know how to make money doing them. So most of the stuff I need, I can just work and make money. It's easy. Like that's easy. But to go take my time that is making me hundreds of dollars an hour to take that and not make any money just to learn the possibility that could take, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. There's no way of knowing. So now I have an unknown problem that I cannot solve until I take one step and another step. So I just keep taking small steps. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to learn this thing, I'm like, I'm going to try this. And even if I fuck it up, I'm going to try again. And if I fuck it up, I'm going to try again. I'm going to be relentless in the perseverance of trying to learn this, even when I have excuses of, oh, now I need to deal with all this crap. This didn't go the way I wanted. Now I need to do this. So now I'm justifying myself away from the conversation, which is what everybody does. On other subjects, yeah, other times I'm right in there, getting it done, changing, doing this, doing that, whatever. But the reality is the only way you're going to create change, like true change moving into the new year, is by having these conversations. You can try to have them with yourself. It can work. I've done it. It's not as fast. It can be effective, but it's never as fast. It's a internal thing, right? Like you went a year, right?
Mhm.
So on one, I've gone probably years on them before. Um, but I want to kind of tell a story around this. There's like a couple. Well, I've had a lot of major change points in my life from that usually resulted in a failure. But the first greatest changes I saw in myself were actually based on falling in love. A lot of changes happened. I changed directions. I quit smoking. I quit drinking. I quit having sex. I did all these different things, whatever. And then that turned into a complete shit show later on, and fucking wrecked, caused all kinds of problems emotionally, mentally, whatever. You wouldn't have known, but it did. And then 9 years later, another dramatic change happened where my girlfriend at the time said, this isn't working. Things have to change. And I went, shit. And that was probably the first time in my life where I was actually looking at things saying, she's right. This is not good. No one would sign up for what's happening here. I have to change. And like, I did. She didn't. That was the problem. That's when I came across personal development. But in the moment, I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. I just knew that it was truth, and I had to solve something. And within 48 hours, the only thing I came up with was change your attitude, because that's the one thing that no one could take from me. It's the one thing I knew, that if I had a better, more positive attitude, that it would have to have a positive effect on everything else around me. I had no idea how to change my business to fix some of the problems. I had no idea how to fix my relationship to fix some of the problems. I mean, that was that was what came to me. Like I worked all night, and it like comes to me. And I'm like, okay, so when something's going to piss you off, you can't be pissed off. So this is like all these thoughts are going through my head. What's pissed you off in the last month? You can't be pissed anymore. Like even if it's traffic, if it's somebody put a tool in the wrong place, if it's someone says something stupid, if it's someone shows up this way, no, like you can't. You have to change your attitude. And like, yeah, it's understanding that you're going to kind of have the triggered response, but you're you now no longer just react. You have to respond positively. Find some way. And within that decision, about 48 hours later, I was put in like walking down the trail. I meet a guy and he hands me an audio CD that leads to another CD that leads to the open box of law of attraction, personal development, a whole new set of friends, like complete life changing situation. And eventually that it kind of ended that relationship, but that was the advantage of it. Like because I came out and went better, right? Like it's you keep when you're dedicated to growth, everything is this or better.
Well, oftentimes when you choose to follow that inspired action on your heart, the path gets starts to lay out for you.
Mhm.
So like your inspired action was like change my attitude
Mhm.
and you went with it. Because other people might feel that I need to change my attitude, but then their brain is like, no, you don't. It's them. They need to change
Oh
their
yeah, point the
attitude.
finger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
And
the victim.
yeah, and that's how, but you heard it, you felt it, and you went with it, and then you almost submitted to it, and then things began to lay out for you. Within 20, 48 hours, you
Mhm.
met that guy who handed you the tapes that really helped,
Mhm.
and it's like the path opens up.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of other disasters to motivate and different things to create certain things, but if you're gonna do something, start thinking about it long before you're gonna do it. If you all of a sudden have this idea, oh, I'm gonna do this, chances are life is gonna get in the way. And so as you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this, start thinking, what do I have to clear out so that I can? A lot of people think, oh, I have all this free time, but you actually don't. You are using up 100% of your time all the time. And when you try to change, like for example, you get off work or it's the end of your day and you're like, oh, we just sit around and watch TV, or I have time, I could just do it at this time. So you're thinking about, well, there's certain times of the day when I'm not working, and I'll just fill that time of my day with that and do it. Well, that time of your day, whether it's watching TV or having a coffee or doing whatever you do that feels like unimportant time, is actually very important time that is giving you something. And if you don't replace that something with something that still gives you the energy or meets that emotional sedation or benefit or whatever, then your subconscious is gonna go against you. It's gonna say, no, 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 we need that. Fuck this new thing. We need that. It wants to just keep you alive and keep you kind of stuck in a way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a survival mechanism. It's not bad. It's just you have to recognize it as it is what it is, and it will have those emotional pulls. So when you look at energy, and subconscious mind, energy, and all the things around you, they're all influencing, they're all tied together. And if you look at this energy, it's programmed to do what it's doing. Your life is pre-programmed day to day to day. And if you want to change it, you have to change the energy. Now, some of that might be addressing or healing a trauma or dealing with something or whatever. Some of it is like new things. How do you do new things? Well, you have to learn. A lot of us think, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm like this, I'm going to figure out this marketing and do this marketing thing. Well, that's not easy. It's like being a little kid and never having like not never knowing how to tie a shoe. And somebody's like, here you go, tie your shoe. They show you once and say, good luck. And they leave. And you're like, ah, give me my Velcros back. Right. And we go back to the old stuff and we just eventually forget about the bunny rabbit and the bow. Fuck it, I'm done. Right. So, but the reality is even a little kid with almost nothing in their brain yet still has to do it several times in order to get it. So we're adults. We have way too much in our brain, billions of distractions nonstop, especially with social media, all this stuff happening. And yet you think you're going to just learn how to tie a shoe? Like, I got this. Oh, I'll just watch and then I'll do. Except for when you watch and then you try to do it and you then feel embarrassed. So now you have embarrassment triggers. Now you have this. Now you feel bad. Then you have an excuse. You have billions of ways to justify why you should or shouldn't work out or why you should or shouldn't let go of that problem in your relationship or why you should spend this money because oh, you need it. The family needs it. We need to spend the money. No, you don't. Like you can live on less. It Whatever your commitment is the one you need to keep. So before you make your commitments, search them wisely. Investigate your emotional state, investigate the people around you, investigate the question, investigate the why, investigate, are you really wanting to let go? There's a great biblical example of this when Jesus goes to the guy at the fountain and says, do you want to be healed? This guy's been there for years and it seems like an absolutely ridiculous question. And he's like, do you want to be able to walk or not? Do you want to be healed? And he's like, yes. And he says, well, then get up, take up your bed and leave. But the guy, I don't think had ever asked himself the question, do you want to be healed? He was just living the repeating thing over and over because that's who he thought he was. And if you can actually say, this is the thing I want, and then get ruthless about achieving it, understanding that it will not go the way you want. Nothing's going to play out that way it is, but you're just willing to do it and keep doing it. And it comes down to once you start, don't quit. Just keep pushing when it doesn't make sense. If you said you would do it for 90 days, do it for 90 days. 89 days is a fucking quitter. It will mess with your head. It will. Whether you like it or not, it will. And the only way to recover from it is basically to be like, I quit. I own it. That was my bad. Um, I'm going to try something less and finish. Like, and you acknowledging it, taking responsibility for it, and then doing something else, and then pushing through and finishing it will give you the fire right back on top where you need to be. Like you forgive the past, you're done with it, you move forward again.
Set yourself up to win.
Yes,
Stack
constantly.
wins.
Yeah, way better to do something micro small and win because the energy is winning energy than to do something massive and barely miss it.
Mm.
Like there's a, it's like if, oh, here's a good one. We'll use crypto right now. If I tell somebody, well, let's say somebody gave me money. I don't do this, but let's just say you did. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to make you $100,000 off this $1,000, right? I'm going to turn it into $100,000. And 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, however long it is, they give me $1,000 and I come back and say, you know what? It's just not going to hit 1,000. I hit 99. So you should just be grateful for the 99 or whatever. Then there's someone else, same situation that says, um, I'm gonna give you like you're gonna give me 1,000 and I'm gonna make 10,000. And so they're like, okay, whatever. Same timeline, same everything. And the person comes back and says, well, I didn't make you 10, but I made you 12. They're super excited. You're like that person is their hero. The energy will be better for the 12K than the 99. Even though it was the same amount, same different. This one was a lie. This one was success. And energy works the same way. And so when you are committing to whatever you're committing to, just keep your commitment. Make it easy, make it small. Like when it comes to working out, make it so simple you can't not do it. And then just create the win over and over again and just be consistent with the win. Don't quit, just do it over again. And if you fuck up, don't restart, keep counting. Like that's there's this thing where us perfectionists will want to restart and start over. And it's really hard for me. It's like, why? Why would you restart? You've gained all this ground and you're going to go back to one and start counting again? No, just keep going. Just keep going. So there's different things. You know you better than anyone else. If you want support in it, then you come find us, or you find a system, or you find a group, or you find some level of accountability. You stop fucking lying, then saying, "Oh, this is why." No, no, no. You did it, or you didn't. That's it's as simple as that. I just want you to take time to like investigate, to think it through. That says why. Why would I do that thing? And why would I take away the time that I'm already doing these other things? And what if it takes me 4 times as long as what I'm thinking? Am I still willing to do it? So challenge your thoughts, challenge the different things, and ask yourself, am I willing to do this? And then understand that there is energy trapped inside your body that is causing you to do different things. If you have addictions, there's psychology things, but there's also energy. Like there's energy actually inside your body that is vibrating in a way that matches you with addiction. And trying to just do something different is really challenging because you're having to overcome a programming situation and then recreate something different because this is what you know. This is easy. It's comfort. We can just go back to this. And now I have to find, not only do I got to overcome the addiction, but now I have to find something that I can do that I don't even know what I'm doing. So now I look like an idiot. Now I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm lonely. Like we've both quit drinking years ago, and one of the hard things about it is like, what do I do for fun? Like when all of our friends were drinkers and partiers, and then it's like, now I'm lonely.
Mm.
What do I do now? Guess I got to make new friends. It's hard. It's not easy to, it would be easier if you could just keep all the good stuff and then just quit the one thing. But no, that's not how it works. You dramatically change things. And so you're having to do the new thing, which is just as uncomfortable as stopping the old thing. It's a double-sided sword, but it's exciting if you look at it properly, if you continue to focus on the desire, the wins, the thing you want, and give yourself permission to go to school to learn the failures and the different things to get to there where you want to be. And then once you do it, there's this fire inside you that's like, yeah, I did it. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
That was very good.
yeah.
Any closing thoughts, Mac?
Um, well, I'll close with this. I mean, in our membership, I am going to be going, like a lot of us are going to be doing something. The higher level people, it's more like a requirement. This is what you're going to do. They kind of fight against it. They're like, oh no, we're going to no,
Mm.
F you, type of thing. But yet there's this love for the battle that happens. There's this energy that comes through everybody that just starts to like just some kind of winning type of purpose driven thing that happens. So I'm kind of excited for that. And then in our membership, the usual, that everybody in there is winning because they're getting together. We're creating the energy that helps change this energy that keeps you held back. You see things differently. You get permission to be you. You become more authentic, and authenticity rules. It's the greatest. If you're going to learn a skill, it's learn to be authentic. Learn to not give a shit what anybody thinks. Learn to, you know, figure out where your emotional state is. Express it when you need to, or give yourself permission to feel it all the time, and live a life that you love and not care, like, because when you love yourself and you live that way, the right people find you, and then you can continue living free instead of trying to show up right for this person or do this or do that. No, everybody loves you when you are you truly you. So this is where we help people in our membership. If you're interested in something like that, talk to one of us, find us online, message us, ask us about it. How do you get started? What's it look like? You can ask about programs like the Sober Mom program, which is any woman get sober type of thing. Men could probably benefit from it as well, but it's a little different. Like if you're a man and you want to get sober, you should talk to me. That's where, there's a different type of truth that can be spoken, and also an ear that can hear where you're at. Even though I'm hardcore push, my level of understanding is very high. The empathy that can be given, which can often give some, like, it's a healing permission in a more manly way of dealing with it. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's go, let's do this. We don't need to sit and talk about it. We need to make sure we feel it, but we can move quickly. It's a very strategic, very, very amazing shit can happen. I'll just leave it at that. But we're always looking for the right person. What we're not looking for is more people that say, "Yeah, I'm going to do this," and then you quit. If that's you, no, get the fuck out. We don't really want you. No offense. It's like maybe your time will come, but we are looking for the people that have been kind of asking the question of like, man, I'm struggling here. What do I do? How do I solve this problem? I've tried every diet thing and nothing ever works out. Well, I've got some cool shit for that. So, or my relationship, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear some of the things that we communicate, and it's like, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense. Or, or, there's a lifetimes of information, data, resources that we have to help. But if I want like to communicate anything, when it really comes down to it, the reason we do this is because there's this part of us that struggled, like the battle that went through a bunch of different things, and we want more people to win with us. We want better relationships and friendships as well. And even though we coach a lot of people, there's still this bond that is made. And when you get to serve someone in that way, and you get very outward focused in helping them, it becomes, it's a fuel that begins to happen. And so it's a purpose. It is what it is. And I'm trying to communicate this correctly, but um you have anything you want to add into that real quick while I kind of.
I don't really have anything to add. I don't think. I feel like that was great as always. I always feel like you explain things just so beautifully and so well. And I'm
Yeah.
super grateful.
Awesome. I'm good
Mhm.
for you too. So um there's a note to hit here, and maybe it's just not the right time, but the I'll just kind of leave it with a question of, if you've found yourself in the last year where you can realize that you're kind of telling yourself something has to change. I don't know what it is, or maybe you do know. You don't know how, or maybe you do. Maybe you're just scared. Maybe you just need a little push or courage. And you're just kind of going, what do I do? And it's been rolling around, or you're just at that point where something happened yesterday and it's like, no shit, I got to do something different. You're listening to this for a reason. No matter when it came out, whether you hear it tomorrow or you hear it 10 years from now, there's a reason. There's a reason why everything happens in your life. So take that inspired action and do something with it. Reach out, make a commitment, do something different.
Hmm.
I'll just leave it at that.
Great. All right. That's it for today then.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We will see you guys later. Yeah, Mac?
Yep.
All right.
See
Bye.
ya.